Hello YouTube, Sign here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today we are doing another light novel review. Today we're going to be looking at Monster Girl Doctor Volume 2. This is written by Yoshino Origuchi and illustrated by Zeton, who does a really good job with the illustrations. It's published by 7 Seas, as you guys can see right there. And I'm not sure what the demographic is. I'm guessing it's YA, or it might actually be a seinen if it ever gets a manga adaptation, but as far as I know, it doesn't have one, so there you go. In terms of genres here, this is a Monster Girl story, and it's a very clearly fantasy-based story. It doesn't really have any sci-fi elements, although this story is set in a kind of Renaissance-esque kind of situation, so that's pretty interesting. Like I said, it doesn't actually have an adaptation, either manga or anime, so hopefully we get one at some point, but I'm not too sure. It would have to really be kind of a slice of life with a lot of ecchi, so I don't know if that's doable in the current sphere of manga right now, or anime. And the premise is basically here that post the end of the first volume, where he saves these harpies from human slavers, Glenn must go to a harpy village in order to help some of the harpies that he saved who happen to be having some medical issues. So he gets over to the Harpy village, and he spends most of the volume there. And what happens is that, while he's taking care of the harpy, there's some other situations that occur where he has to take care of some other monster girls, like a giantess and a centaur, and some other stuff that happens there. And generally, I thought that was really good. I really like the way this is structured, where there's like this overarching plot line for the volume. However, each chapter actually focuses on a specific subplot that ties into the larger situation. So I really like that. I think it's really well done. It's pretty impressive how they do it. And I do think that the story kind of doesn't really have an overarching plot across the whole series. However, it is, set up in such a way that it doesn't really matter. It's really, really good. However, you still do need to read it in order. I feel like you wouldn't really be able to understand it if you didn't read it in order, because Volume 1 definitely introduces everything about the characters, so you have to kind of know that beforehand. So there you go. Now let's talk about the plot line here. It's pretty good. Like I said, it's less of the ecchi stuff that was very prevalent in Volume 1. It does focus a lot more on the world building aspect of stuff. However, there's still definitely some ecchi stuff, right? And it does try to push the romance of the story quite a bit more. However, it doesn't really feel like it succeeds, because there's so many interested parties here that doesn't really make sense. It feels like a little too contrived, even for a like harem style fantasy story. So I don't know, it's a little bit weird here, but he deals with some good monster girl medicine here. He heals some harpies, centaurs, giants, and he deals with an arachne, which is a half spider half woman character. And overall pretty good. There was one or two bits of the plotline that I didn't really like. When he's dealing with the arachne character, there's this kind of element of basically there's a scene where she's basically about to assault him, and they play it off very neutral, like it's not a serious thing. And I didn't like that, because this character basically threatened to rape him, and what happens is that he basically ignores it and then moves on with his life without any issue. And I don't like that, because it feels like a pretty significant thing that the character should try to deal with. So I'm not really sure that I like that little plot point there. However, the rest of it was pretty good, so generally there was no issues with the story. However, that one was just a little bit annoying, because it felt like it was just not great. Like, because if the situation was reversed, if it was like the male, like a male character, attempting to do that to a female character, the story would have been very different, right? But because it's the other way around, because it's a male character, it's just played off as like, oh, she's just weird, and then they move on. And I didn't really like how that happened. However, the rest of it was good, like I said. So there you go. The characters here are pretty good. We have Elias, who is a harpy. She happens to have very nice plumage, and she's very cute. I really like her. I think she's a good like teenager type character who then turned into this very happy like adult. I think that's really good. I really like that. We have Lorna and Kay, who are two centaur ladies that help out the main centaur lady here. I can't remember her name. what's it called? Tisalia, I think is her name. And I like them. I enjoy the way that their dynamic is. They have this kind of very like relaxed and anxious kind of personality that pairs up very well with each other in order to create some semblance of, you know, duty and responsibility, which I think is really, really well done. I like that. However, both of these characters function both to highlight the interesting aspects of centaurs, but also to kind of provide some like fetishy type of stuff. So there you go. Arania is the Arachne lady, who I really don't like as a character. When she was introduced, I thought she was interesting. However, when that whole situation happened there, I didn't really like her. I'm not really sure how I feel about her like overall, because at the end of the day, this is fantasy, it's not real, it doesn't really matter, right? But I did find it to be a little annoying, right? Just the way that it was dealt with, not necessarily the content of the situation, because I think that it is understandable that this would happen in a fantasy world where, you know, creatures interact differently. So it makes sense in the context of the world. However, I don't like how it was played off from the human perspective. So that's the issue there. It's not really the content itself, it's just how the content was handled that I don't like. And then the last character here is Dione, who is a giantess lady who I really like as well. I think she's really cute. And yeah, overall the characters were pretty good. In terms of world building here, we get to see some rural people, some rural monster situations, which I think is really, really good. It's very interesting because mostly we have seen this like hyper advanced city that caters to all of these different monsters, and we hadn't really seen how a monster would technically live in a natural habitat. So showing us these rural people actually helps us do that, and I think that's really, really good. Other than that, there's some good development of the monster lore. There's basically this idea that, you know, Glenn had a teacher, Miss Cthulhu, who happens to be a very long-lived Cilia monster, who happens to be, you know, half octopus, half woman, and she has been so long-lived that she managed to become a scholar and decided that she wanted to learn where monsters came from. And so she is his teacher, and she has all of this knowledge and stuff. And we get to see that there's this interest in where the monsters originally came from and how they work. And this kind of helps Glenn be a better doctor. And I really like that. I really enjoy how there's this lore here and how some of these monsters are basically god level monsters. However, that doesn't make them any different from everyone else. They just have so much power. So I thought that was really, really cool. And it actually ties really well into the next volume, which I just started reading. So that's pretty cool. So I like that a lot. So yeah. Other than that, the artwork is great as always. I'm not really going to show it to you guys. It's the same as before. It's really, really good. The paintings with color are really good, and the illustrations with that color are also really, really good. In terms of fan service, there's a lot of it. So, you know, if you don't like that, you know, stay away. However, most of the fan service is what's it called? It's like during the medical examinations as a way to provide like the fan service without it being like specifically fan service. It's a really weird kind of situation to explain. It's good generally, so I mean, if you are okay with it, go for it. I think it's a good series. But yeah, rating, this is a 4 out of 5. I think it's really good, really enjoyable. Just that one bit there with the way that situation was handled that I don't really like, and that's basically it there. So yeah, I definitely recommend this title if you like Monster Girls. If you don't, this might not really be for you, but yeah. In terms of similar titles, there's Monster Musume, and I think that's basically the closest you're going to get to it. However, there's a few other titles that are recommended here in the back of the book, so let's see. Monster Infirmary, 12 Beasts, Centaur's Life, My Girlfriend's a T-Rex, Monster Musume, and My Monster Secret are the other Monster Girl series that are available from 7 Seas, so there you go. But yeah. That's all I have to say, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys later.